Micaiah, Jaden, Gianna, no!
Jaden, give it back, that's mine! You gotta catch me, Buck!
Micaiah and Jaden, in the room right now!
Hi, hello, hola, bonjour. Is bonjour hi, right? Anyway, we're back. Welcome back to our channel. I know it's been a while. I apologize. I have been slacking off on this and in turn working pretty hard on my business with the crafts and everything, and that's where the last video came from. Was I was just trying to record some videos of me crafting because I like that kind of thing. I like the fast forward type of vibe, and I don't know. Anyway, so I'm back and we have a visitor. Say hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Gianna.
Gianna. How old are you?
7.
No, you're not 7.
I'm 7.
You're 7. Oh, she's 7, I guess. She's a really tiny 7-year-old. How old are you?
2.
2. That's 3. 2. You wanna say hello to everybody?
Hi.
What are you doing?
I'm sitting.
Sitting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alright, let mommy do her video, okay?
Okay.
Alright, say bye, guys.
Bye.
Okay, so, I don't know if I said this already because of all of that, but today I'm going to do a C-section story. But 3 of them, because as you guys know, I have 3 kids, 10, 7, and 2, and they were all born with a C-section. So, to go ahead and get started into the story, my first daughter is 10 years old, and so obviously my first C-section. Well, just to kind of go back, it was a really easy, normal pregnancy. There were no signs, there were no issues or anything like that to make us believe that she would be a C-section baby. However, about a week before my due date, they were checking my cervix and all, you know, the normal things, see if you're dilating and stuff like that. And the doctor was like, I don't know that you're going to be able to deliver this baby. So my first baby, I'm thinking, what are you talking about? Clearly I have to deliver this baby. So he ended up telling me that my pelvic bone was contracted or small, which is, I guess, normal, but my bones were closer together, and in turn, because of that, they were worried that she would get stuck. So they told me that I had the right to attempt labor and to see how it went. They couldn't, I guess, take that from me because they weren't sure, but they basically advised that I should do a C-section. It would be easier, it would be less stressful on her and on me. So I was like, okay, that's fine. I don't want to run the risk of her getting stuck and being rushed into emergency surgery and all of that. So we went ahead and scheduled for a C-section that following week. She was due on the 20th and my C-section was scheduled on the 19th. So everything, I still, you know, I think I went to the doctor one more time before the actual C-section, and then of course nerves set in, but I think because I didn't really know what to expect, I just had kind of scattered thoughts and a little bit of nervousness. I wasn't as afraid as I was from my other ones for whatever reason, and I think it's because for my second and my third, I just knew what to expect, and my mind went to places that it shouldn't have. So that night, well, the night before rather, I went to sleep, no symptoms, no anything, and I woke up about 3 in the morning, and I went to the bathroom and noticed that TMI, sorry, I noticed that something came out. So I called my mom and asked her, like, what is this? And she was like, oh, that's your mucus plug. But she was like, it's fine, that happens before labor, you're due tomorrow, no problem. So I'm thinking, okay, cool. You know, I'm going in to have her tomorrow anyway. I was due in 2 days. I'm sorry, I was due in 2 days. I was going in to have her the next day, and it was fine. I was like, no worries, you know, I'm going in anyway. Immediately, maybe 2 to 5 minutes later, I had contractions. And being my first kid, I didn't know what to expect. You know, you hear on the movies and the TV shows and everything like that, oh, my water broke or I started having contractions, you go to the hospital. So I called the hospital and asked them what I should do, and they said wait until they're 3 to 5 minutes apart. Being that I already had an appointment that morning, I think I had to be there at like 6. So they said otherwise just wait until then and then go ahead and come in. Well, I want to say within an hour, they were about 5 minutes apart. So just to be on the safe side, we went ahead and went into the hospital and got prepared and everything, and they gave me some medicine to stop the contractions and just like regular pain medicine and stuff like that. But they didn't bump the scheduled C-section up, and I think it was scheduled for about noon. So I had to wait from like 4:35 in the morning until like 11 when they start prepping you, and they only gave me 1 dose of medicine to stop the contractions. Other than that, it was just like pain medicine. So overall, it was not that bad of a labor. The contractions were horrible, I will say that, but because I got medicine to ease them up, I never got to the point where it was completely unbearable. Fast forward to about 11, they start prepping me. I do the epidural. I'm terrified. And I told the nurse I was absolutely terrified. She's like, you're fine, just be still. So I was as still as I could possibly be. And it went fine. It was not as bad as I had anticipated it to be. It just felt almost like it was a lot of pressure in my spine where they put the needle in, but other than that, I didn't really feel anything. Felt like a rush of cold go through my legs, which it said was normal. And it was almost like someone like just pushing really hard their thumb into my back, because they do numb the area around where they put the actual epidural. So I just felt pressure and then like a cold feeling through my legs, and then I was completely numb within 5 minutes. And so that was really easy. I mean, I was on pain medicine just in general. I had the epidural now, so I couldn't feel a thing. I was pretty relaxed. I was pretty calm. I was ready because I had already been in the hospital for like 8 hours, I guess, whatever the time is. I had already been in the hospital for a really long time, and I was just ready. I was ready to go ahead and meet her and have her and all of that. Fast forward to the surgery, I felt nothing, and they kept telling me you might feel pressure, you might feel, you know, certain pains just because you're a nurse and things like that. But I felt nothing. It was so easy, so quick, so painless, and that was it. You know, after that, of course, they stitch you up, send you to recovery, and then you finally get your room. As far as after, they do go ahead and make you stand up and walk within like 24 hours. So I think the first time you stand up is like maybe 24 hours after the surgery, and then they have you walk. And I did fine. It was very, very sore, I will say that, very sore, but it wasn't unbearable. It wasn't something I felt like I couldn't do. Yeah, it wasn't something that I remember as this long traumatic experience. So with my son, 3 years later, I don't know why, because you would think that I would be like, oh, this is gonna be easy, this is gonna be great, because of my last experience being so easy and so painless and so quick. And it was like an ideal C-section situation. Say that 5 times fast. Anyway, so I was a nervous wreck. I called my dad and I was crying and I was like, oh my God, what if I die? And it was bad. It was bad. It was so dramatic. So of course I was fine. But the next day I go into the hospital and I was a big baby. I was such a big baby. They put the IV in my hand and I was just freaking out. The epidural was awful. I didn't realize that, like, depending on where they place it can have a different effect on how you feel the medicine and all of that. So when they went ahead to do the epidural, I of course was nervous. Just in general, you're getting a needle shoved into your spine, it's nerve-wracking. So I'm nervous, I'm trying to be still, and I feel the needle go in. I mean, I didn't really feel the needle go in, I just felt the pressure. But then when it went down, it was like a truck was crushing my body. It was so much pressure. Again, something that they told me was normal and to be expected, but because I didn't experience that in my first one, it wasn't to be expected for me. So I don't even remember how I reacted to that. If I was like completely silent because I was terrified, or if I screamed. It was so painful. So a couple minutes later, they're testing to see if I'm numb, and they said you should feel pressure, you may feel touch, but you shouldn't feel pain, and you shouldn't be able to feel cold. So they're putting ice on my leg, and I'm so scared because I can feel the bag. And at this point, they tell me you should be able to feel the bag, or you may be able to feel the bag, but you shouldn't feel cold. So I was just scared because with my daughter, I didn't feel anything. So I was like, yeah, I feel cold. And they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, just because I was terrified that because I could feel the bag, what if I could feel them cut me open? So they took like a little pin prick. As they were doing the bag on one side, they took a pin, like a piece of plastic or something, and poked me in my leg. And I didn't end up feeling anything. So they're like, oh, we think you're numb enough. So of course I was terrified. I had the most amazing nurse though. And throughout the surgery, my blood pressure kept going up, mostly because of nerves. I was so nervous. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what to do. I did feel pain. It wasn't unbearable. It wasn't, you know, crazy type of pain, but I did feel pain and pressure. I felt, you know, when they were trying to get him out, I felt tugging, I felt pressure. I kept getting a really bad pain like behind my shoulder, in my shoulder blade area, and my nurse just massaged it and massaged it. He was absolutely amazing. And they basically had to tell me, if you don't calm down, we're going to have to knock you out, and you're going to miss the actual birth. You have to calm down. So them telling me that kind of struck something in me, and I was like, okay, look, I have to get it together. So I just started taking deep breaths and made it through. After that, I was fine. Recovery wasn't bad. Well, the actual like stitching me up and making sure that my vitals were okay, recovery wasn't bad. I get to the room, and the bad part was basically over. When they came and got me up to stand up and walk and do those things and have me like walk around the floor, I was fine. That part wasn't so bad because I was very adamant on like, okay, this pain medicine is supposed to be taken every 4 hours. I need to take it every 4 hours. This is every 6 hours. I need to do it every 6 hours. So I made sure I stayed up on my pain medicines so that I could get up and walk and do those things, because that does promote healing. Fast forward to my third and last C-section. I was such a nervous wreck. I didn't eat the day before. I think we got like a smoothie from Smoothie King, just because I knew I needed something. And I knew that if I didn't have something in my stomach, I was going to end up fainting. So I did get a smoothie, but I couldn't eat anything. I took my kids to one of my best friend's house, Sarah, and she kept the kids overnight for me. By the way, if you're watching this, thank you, Sarah. I love you. She's amazing. But so I took them over there, and then that was almost like when reality set in, because I was like, okay, the kids are over there. I have to mentally prepare for surgery. I was not very prepared. My husband was like, oh, you're fine. It's gonna be fine. I was just a mess. I was such a mess. I don't think I slept more than 5 minutes that night. Every time I started to fall asleep, I would wake up with, you know, I would just be a nervous wreck. So I didn't sleep. I barely ate. Bad combo. Really bad combo. I know nerves play a big factor in that, but if you are watching this because you're not sure what to expect, please, please, please try to calm down, eat something, get some rest, because that makes all the difference. So 5 o'clock came around in the morning. We go into the hospital. Again, I was a total baby. They put the IV in my arm. I cried. They told me that the anesthesiologist was coming to do my epidural. I cried. I was just a big crybaby, and I was laughing at myself as I was crying, and I was telling the nurse, I should be used to this. This is my 3rd C-section. Why am I freaking out? Oh my God. And she was just, you're fine, you're fine, it's okay, it's a surgery, it's okay to be nervous, that's normal. I was like, I know, but I should know what to expect. I shouldn't feel this way about something that I've already experienced. So epidural, terrible. Same sensation that I have with my son, and it was just awful. The same crushing pressure feeling. It was terrible. So then when they come to test to see if I'm actually numb and everything, it was the same. I could feel the bag of ice. I couldn't feel the coldness. I told them I could for another like 5 minutes just because I was so scared. Again, the same reasoning. I didn't want to get into surgery and be like, okay, I feel that. I did the same thing. And then they actually told me about the plastic prick, and I was like, okay, no, I can't really feel that. So I was like, okay, let's just get this over with. And I remember my husband went to like get all the medical gear on, like the, you know, the scrubs and the hairnet and all that stuff. And he came in, and you know, you put your arms out and everything, and I was like laying to the side and my eyes were closed. And he thought that I had passed out or I was sleeping or something. So I was like, no, I'm just so nervous that I have to just kind of focus on my breathing, because I also didn't want the same thing to happen again, where my blood pressure went up and they threatened to, you know, give me medicine to where I wouldn't be able to experience any, excuse you, where I wouldn't experience it. Again, pretty painful experience, not unbearable or anything like that, but I guess it's just the placing that they did with the epidural. You're silly. The placing that they did was the same, I guess, with my son and her. This is number 3, so this is the one that we're talking about right now. I guess they placed it in the same spot, and then with my oldest daughter, I guess they put it in a different spot. I don't know how that works, but that's my son. Kind of the same experience. The epidural was awful. The birth, I could feel pressure, a little bit of pain. I did have pains in my chest rather than in my back. So I think right before she was born, like a minute or two before she was born, they actually gave me a medicine to calm me down, because they were like, this will help with your pain in your chest and all of those things. So we're gonna go ahead and give it to you. It's safe enough now where she's almost out that we can do that. So I was like, okay, awesome. And once they gave me that, I was able to calm down a lot more. They stitched me up, sent me to the recovery, and after that it was pretty smooth. Now, because I hadn't slept or eaten or anything the day before, I was like falling asleep as people were coming to visit me. Like, and this was right after the birth. So I'm exhausted. I'm on pain medicine. I haven't eaten. I haven't slept. It was just, I was so exhausted. My body was done. So like my mom and my sister were there at the hospital when she was born. And so they came in to see her and all of that. And I was like falling asleep talking.
That's your cookie just talking at you.
Yeah. So I was falling asleep. It was so bad. To
Mom,
where they're like, it's fine, we got her take a nap. So I took like a 30-minute nap. And
I put sleepy in my nap.
oh yeah?
And then actual and she's actual.
Sissy's at school and Jaden's at school? Oh. So anyway, then when it came time to stand up, I did have my tubes tied. And by tied, I mean clamped and clipped. So they did tell me that the recovery in the first day or two, it is a lot more pain than a regular C-section. There's a lot more going on and you do have more pain. That was so much truth, because I started to stand up and I looked at the nurse and I was like, no, I don't want to. I'm not doing this.
Watch the channel.
Sorry guys, my camera just cut off.
Watch the channel.
What?
Watch the channel.
What is that?
Watch the channel.
Oh, watching channel. So
So what's
I looked at the nurse and I was like, no, I am not getting up. I'm not. I refuse. And she laughed. She's like, no, you're fine. You can do this. So I ended up standing up and I was like, okay, I'm done. Send me back down. So they're like, okay, we'll come back in a little bit and have you walk to the bathroom. So they came back like maybe 2 hours later and they pushed me and they pushed me and they pushed me. And I finally, you know, made it to the bathroom and back. It was excruciating to say the least. After that, it wasn't so bad. It was to the point where I had my husband help me and like he would help me get to the bathroom because I knew that if I didn't walk and I didn't try to do that, that it would be that much harder for me like when I got home and just like the little things that they want to make sure that you're okay before you leave the hospital. So I did finally push myself to go ahead and do that. And then after the second day, I would say midday, maybe late afternoon, I felt well enough to like sit up in bed and get up and walk around the room and do those things and like get up, wash my face, take a shower, all of those things. So and then when I got home, I feel like my recovery was faster with her. I literally came home, sat her in the swing and was like, okay, I have to do laundry. And my husband's like, will you sit down? You just had surgery. I'm like, no. Because I also had postpartum depression for like a week and a half with both of my older two. So I told myself, look, I can't let myself fall into that. I have to get up. I have to get back to a routine. I have to do what I have to do. So I didn't want to stop and just sit there because that's kind of when my brain does the most like, I don't know, just terrible things. So I wasn't going to allow myself to get into that funk. So I set her in the swing and I was like, okay, I gotta throw a little clothes in laundry. So that's exactly what I did. And within 5 days, now I came home on day 3. Within 5 days, I was taking walks around the neighborhood. Within 9 days, we actually went to the mall because I knew that I had to keep my mind busy. And if I sat, I see you.
My camera.
I knew that if I just sat in the house, that it would affect me in a way that I didn't want it to. So I kept trying to get out and do those things. And that helped a lot. So I was really quickly back into the routine of everything. And she was born in June. And in July, I had to go ahead and start getting the older kids ready for school. So I was at the school doing open house and doing, you know, I just got back into it a lot quicker. I knew that I have 3 this time. I don't have time to sit around, you know. And for me, that worked. I didn't have any medical complications. I didn't have any, you know, doctor restrictions or anything like that. So if you do have those things, please listen to your doctor. They know way better than I do. But me personally, I didn't have any complications. So I didn't have anything to watch out for or look out for. I was okay to go ahead and return to normal and figure out my routine because I had to figure out what I was going to do. My husband traveled for work and I think he was home for maybe 3 weeks, two, maybe 3 weeks. So I had to figure it out. I had to get back into the swing of things. I had to figure out how to get laundry done, how to cook dinner, how to get the 2 ready for school and make sure that they have attention and do everything plus a new baby. I had to get back into it. I really had no choice, but it benefited me because I also didn't fall into that postpartum depression, which was amazing because that stuff is awful. So those are my stories about my C-sections, and they were all so different that it's just crazy. And my biggest advice for anyone experiencing or expecting rather a C-section is just try to calm down. Your nerves will get the best of you, and that is the worst part. Even with my son and my youngest daughter's birth being pretty painful, it just wasn't a fantastic experience. I still feel like the worst part of it was my nerves and just the fact that I let my nerves get the best of me. So that's my biggest piece of advice. Try to calm down. And I know it's extremely hard to do because I even told myself that. Try to calm down, try to calm down. And I wasn't able to. If you can, calm down. That's going to be your biggest factor, is your mind. And knowing that it's fine. You'll be fine. And it'll be over soon. And you'll have your new baby. And it'll all be worth it. It's very true. All the pain, all the worries, all that junk that goes along with it is so worth it. But you just have to really kind of psych your mind into telling yourself that, look, it's fine. It's not as bad as I think. I'm gonna be okay, and let's just get it over with. Just go in there with like a let's do it mindset, and you will be okay. So I hope you guys enjoyed my C-section stories. I know they vary from fantastic to, oh my god, that doesn't sound fun. But those are my stories, and I'm here, I'm alive, I'm fine, and I made it through, so will you. I hope this gave someone some encouragement, helped someone with the nerves, helped someone kind of know what to expect, and just kind of helped you guys know what I went through and what yours has the possibility of looking like. I will say that my nerves are definitely the reason why a lot of things went better in my first than my second and third, because I was a wreck. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up, comment below. Oh yeah, go ahead and comment below if you have had a C-section, how many you've had, and if yours were anything similar to mine, or go ahead and tell me your story. She's clearly stealing my show. And also leave comments below for any suggestions you have for videos. I am definitely looking for suggestions, and with or without the kids, so that's always a good, you know, thing to throw that in there. It doesn't have to be with the kids, it doesn't have to be without the kids. I just want to see and know and hear what you guys want. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you later. Bye.